My name is Carla Van Ziel, and I have my Shodan, which is my black belt. My name is Luke DeFord. I am an orange belt.
My name is Cohen Heitman. I'm a second-degree black belt.
My name is Megan Grutin. I'm a brown belt from Heart Judo Academy.
My name is Zoe Sheeman, and I've been doing judo for 3 years.
Hello, my name's Lachlan Young. I'm with Heart Judo Academy, and I'm a second-degree black belt.
My name is Alin Strasden. I am the head sensei at Prince George Judo Club.
My name is Sylvia Graff. I am a Shodan, and I belong to the Northern Capital Judo Club, and I've been doing judo for 36 years.
Hi, my name is Bruce Kamstra. I'm the coach at the Heart Judo Academy. We've been here for 26 years.
My name is Ivan Pilsick. My rank is I'm a Shodan, and the club is Northern Capital Judo Club.
Judo is a martial art that comes from jiu-jitsu, and so in feudal times in Japan, they used jiu-jitsu as a way of, this is what the samurais and ninjas used to fight and defend themselves. And so Kano Sensei took all the dangerous moves out of jiu-jitsu and turned it into a sport for fitness and physical education.
I was always in the martial arts, but more of the stand-up stuff. And it's been about 7 years I hadn't done anything. So I wanted to get into something a little different. So there was a club not far from my house, the College Side Judo Club, and I had free time in the evenings and I joined up.
My dad worked with the coach at the time, Jerry Huntley, and I had 2 older brothers that were involved in extracurricular activities at school, and my parents thought it'd be good to get me involved in something while I was home alone, driving them crazy.
I've been doing judo for 8 years. My brother started judo a year before me, and then I kind of joined in. He brought me to one of the Bring a Buddy classes, and then I was like, I actually like this, so.
I started when my brother started, like 12 years ago, 11 years ago, and we all just did it as kids.
My sister started doing judo with my father, and I had to join because they were in it.
I wanted to do martial art when I was a little kid because I thought, that's a pretty cool thing. So my dad put me in judo and I was 7 years old. Both my brothers followed suit and been in it ever since.
My dad has been doing judo since 1967, so I sort of had to be in it. And my parents signed me up for judo, and my brother, thinking that we would like it, and long winters in Prince George. Here we are.
Yeah, of course there's a family bond between me and my father because he's a black belt here and he helps coach, and I'm starting to step into that role too, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, there was always competition in every sport we did when you were younger. So judo was like a good competitive sport to have because we could just like rough and tumble and learn how to fight while like having fun.
I started competing because my parents just put me in a tournament, and it was suggested by my sensei that I do so. and it took off from there.
I went to smaller tournaments just for fun, and then I found out that I loved competing, and then as I got more and more like competitive and professional, I went to bigger tournaments, and yeah.
I've been doing like smaller, small town tournaments, but then I went to nationals and I lost there, and then I was like, I want to win. So then I started getting more competitive and stuff.
I started competing because I was signed up for a tournament, and that was it. I was told that we're going to compete, and we competed and have been doing so ever since.
I started competing because I thought it'd be really fun, and it was, so I kept competing.
My judo journey's been a little different because, like say, 49 years ago, there wasn't very many girls in judo.
So when I started judo in the 80s, there were not many girls doing judo, so at the time I had to fight boys.
I think the style of fighting between girls and boys is a little bit different, especially as you get older.
I had 3 brothers that I needed to get away from, and there was very few events that I could choose from in Mackenzie, so I started the judo in the Mackenzie Judo Club back in the day.
I lost every tournament for the first 2 years.
There weren't even girls categories in competition, so my first tournament that I went to, I had to fight the boys.
I remember vividly, I think it was 1990 at the Burnaby tournament, I won my first trophy ever. I beat a boy, I was so happy. And from then on, it got better and better.
I've never had to fight a male opponent in a competition before. I think especially because I started when I was older, so the divisions were more mixed up. I know when you're younger, like U10, U8, they do combine male and female in competitions.
It definitely has farther to go. It would be nice to see a 50-50 split, but it truly seems to be heading that direction.
I help coach and practice with the younger girls at my club a lot. This summer, I was an assistant coach at a girls-only summer camp. I was very fortunate to help coach, mentor, and meet a bunch of younger girls practicing judo in BC.
So it's come a long way.
Training and competing with boys only made me stronger. Like I said, I had 3 brothers at home, so I got a little extra practice at home as well.
It was hard to balance school and judo in high school, and especially later years in high school.
My circle became very small, mostly involved in the people I was traveling with, competing with, and things like that. Because you just kind of run out of time.
To compete in judo, I had to sacrifice a lot of things. I had to stop doing other sports because I didn't have time for those sports anymore because I was committing to judo. And I also had to sacrifice a social life.
I've learned over the years different ways of what I can give up and what I can't to stay to the upper level of both as much as possible. For the most part, I start reducing extracurricular activities, sleeping in becomes a luxury, and you just kind of have to prioritize what's most important, whether that's training over a test or whether it's a test over a couple of practices.
We have to travel to get to all the big tournaments. We have to pay more money, an extra flight. We don't have as much partners to do randori with, and it's just a different level of judo.
It was a struggle. You had to commit to have to get down to the lower mainland or to Alberta. It was a long drive and made you very tired, and a lot of the times we had to drive home for 8 to 10 hours right after a training camp where you're tired and sweaty and bruised and beat up. So it was challenging.
So it was a lot of added cost, traveling, going to tournaments, going to different practices and camps, and I would have to stay with billets, and you would have to miss time from school and things like that, that people who live, say, in the lower mainland wouldn't have to do on a regular basis.
I feel like our location is the biggest challenge for our athletes because they have to travel everywhere for camps and competitions. So it's a big expense, but I also feel that this being remote and traveling together, I think that brings our athletes closer together. They build lifelong friendships just by the amount of time they spend with each other traveling. And so while it is a bit of an issue, our location, I also feel like that's made our club stronger.
Having the Prince George Judo Club in Prince George works really well. We work really well with Bruce at the Heart Club. Our athletes train together. You know, if we were in maybe a smaller community, we wouldn't have that benefit of having another training club. If we were in Vancouver, we would just be one of 10 clubs. So
I think training at a smaller club is really great because Sensei Lynn has helped me a ton, and I think she wouldn't have been able to help me as much as she did if there were more kids for her to help and teach.
I think we've got the best of all the worlds.
Training at a smaller club, I don't think impacted my success in a negative way. We got a lot more hands-on or one-on-one coaching because there's less bodies. But on the other hand, there's less bodies, so if you need a certain training partner at a certain size or skill level, it can be hard to get that here.
So the relationship that I had with athletes in this club and other clubs, we became very tight-knit. We spent a lot of hours together in not always very pleasant situations.
You know, everybody's connected by judo, so everything that you can talk about is about judo, and you can relate to people and, you know, make friendships because of this bond that you have through judo. So.
Judo is an individual sport, and when it comes down to the core of it, you're on the mat by yourself and you win and lose by yourself. But there's definitely a huge team part of it. I felt all of Judo Canada supporting me when I fought in Rio, and then Team BC has always been a big part of it. This club itself is a team.
You're bruised and battered and you just lost at a tournament. Nobody's in high spirits, but you still got to keep going, and everyone can relate to that. It does build a very tight-knit group between those that you train with.
I definitely feel like I'm part of a team. When we go on trips with Team BC, the team spirit is great. And then whenever somebody from our team is in the finals, we are always cheering so loud, and it's really great. So.
Judo is it's a tough sport. It's a full contact sport. You're gonna get hurt.
I got sick and lost my kidney function. It was actually at the same time I was grading for my second-degree black belt and had a very difficult grading because I was not doing well, very healthy at all. My kidneys had essentially shut down.
I had a knee injury that kind of almost ended my career, and then came back.
If you're injured, you're going to be mentally down. You're upset that it happened.
Being on dialysis meant I could not be on the mats. I just didn't have the energy to exert.
When you're fighting in the heavyweight divisions and lifting heavy people, it's a lot on my knee, so I stepped back from competing.
I was able to get back on the mats. However, it has impacted my ability a little bit to compete. The biggest impact was not being able to fight or be on the mats for 2 years.
Once you can actually get back and you start getting back into the rhythm of your sport again, once you're healed or close to being healed, it feels good.
If I didn't have judo, I would have probably not been able to keep my level of mobility and activeness and flexibility that I have having come back to judo and doing judo.
Judo has had a huge impact on my life. I eat, breathe, slept during Judo, basically. That's all I did. And now I'm starting to go into a coaching role, so it's gonna be in my life probably for a very long time.
So I started the club. I just gotten married and I just got laid off, and my wife said, "Why don't you run a judo club as a business?" And I said, "Oh, that's a good idea." So I took like, I think a 2-week entrepreneurial course on how to run your own business through Community Futures, and it didn't prepare me at all for what we were about to do.
Well, this club was originally, it closed down in about 2017. It wasn't reopening. So 3 months had gone by and I had this empty spot. I used it for storage mostly. And then I got in touch with another sensei that was in the previous club. And we had a conversation, and a couple months later, we opened a club. It got all the mats. It actually happened really fast. So I still wanted to work out. I liked the club. I liked the people. So we got a lot of the people back, and yeah, I wanted to stay with the club.
Yeah, I've been the head coach at the Prince George Judo Club for several years now, and it has its challenges. But for myself, having a strong executive that supports our club is important to me. Then I don't have to worry about things that are happening off the mats as much, and I can focus a lot of my time on the athletes of all ages on the mats. So we have programs for kids from 4 years old to adults, and it takes a lot of time and planning to work on those things to build the programs, but having a strong executive and parents group behind me working on the off the mat activities is very important.
When I got promoted to my blue belt, my brown belt, when I was a teenager, I was still coaching the younger kids, but I took a more formal coaching approach 25 years ago.
The next goal for me, judo-wise, is to continue my coaching career and to get higher certifications, and maybe even one day take over a dojo or help fully run a dojo.
You have to do coaching courses to become certified as a coach to teach kids. So I've done a few coaching courses and become certified as a dojo instructor. Those are the biggest things. As you go through judo and you learn the technique, so you don't really need to learn a lot in terms of coaching for that because you already know the sport, but you do need to learn some ethics and some things to help coach kids properly.
Coaching has made me a better judoka because you can understand, you can see from both sides of the fence. When a coach is pushing you and you're irritated by them pushing you, you understand the reasons why, and how coaches can see the areas that you're lacking in or struggling in. They help identify it, and once you can accept that you have a flaw and need to work on that, it helps a lot.
Being a full-blown coach, being able to run my own classes, it feels good, especially considering that I was once that little kid looking up to my coach saying, "Wow, he's so cool, he has his black belt and he knows all this." And now that I'm in his shoes, and it's kind of cool to think that maybe there's some kids thinking that about me.
I moved into more of a coaching role out of competing when my dad started his judo club.
I started coaching when I had an injury at a young age.
I started to wind down on competing, and he needed some extra help, so I thought I would step in and help.
For a while I was coaching and competing at the same time, and it was too difficult, and so as I got older I knew that I couldn't do both, so I just moved over to coaching.
Some of the responsibilities that come with coaching are making sure that the students are ready for tournaments, registering for tournaments, making sure that all of the kids are doing what they need to be doing, listening to the rules, dealing with talking to parents, answering questions.
There's many challenges, but there's more rewards.
Coaching has made me a better judoka because you can understand, you can see from both sides of the fence. When a coach is pushing you and you're irritated by them pushing you, you understand the reasons why, and how coaches can see the areas that you're lacking in or struggling in. They help identify it, and once you can accept that you have a flaw and need to work on that, it helps a lot.
I think I love seeing the transformation in kids. So when you have someone who's super challenging, and as you watch them mature and their skills develop, to see someone who has like very little athleticism stick with it and over the years like become super, become good at judo.
Seeing the kids progress and accomplish things, and like I've gotten to witness someone who I helped coach start coaching, so it's quite cool to see that progression in their life.
This has been really good for me to see everybody's different and everyone develops at their own pace, and I think my patience has developed a lot.
I love to see the kids grow and learn. All of the kids do an amazing job and all of the adults in our club, but I love seeing the little girls because when I started in judo, there were only a few girls, a handful of us. And now there are so many girls, and I love seeing how afraid the boys are of the girls. They do a really good job, and that I find very exciting.
The most valuable thing that my students leave the mats with, there's several, like there's a lot of life lessons.
I think if you learn to enjoy working hard, exercising, working with others, so just the ability to get along well with others and work hard and enjoy that process.
We have some kids who start judo who are so shy, and you think that they might quit, and you just see something change in them, and it's confidence, number one.
It's good in terms of if you want to have good cardio, confidence, all that stuff. Judo is a great sport for especially for kids starting out, right? It's a great all-around team effort sport. I know I say it's individual, but it's still a team, right? And it's fun, and we like to have fun here, especially in this club. Everybody has to have fun. You can't just be all, So yeah.
It's something that you can do even if a lot of the adults in the club, including me, are injured, or some people are battling chronic illnesses. And it's pretty amazing and inspiring that people come out here, put a gi on, and everybody is the same once you have the gi on.
It's like they're learning to work together, they're building their teamwork skills, their work ethic. One day when they join the job market, they're very employable because they've learned teamwork, they know how to work with others, they can accept the good, the bad, defeat.
It teaches you many life skills, like how to be humble.
Judo has taught me a lot of respect and composure.
Things aren't going to work, you're going to fail. You can prepare as best you think you can, and something's going to happen you didn't expect. In judo, it might be there's sweat on the mat, or you break your toe, or somebody bleeds all over your gi and it just throws you off.
And how to persevere, and it teaches you a lot of confidence as well. So that's very useful.
Pick yourself up, get back at it. You will recover, you will be stronger, and you will be better for it.
Like, it's a mental and a physical sport. Like, I was training myself physically hard and getting technically everything very good, but it's also just as equally mental, so you have to mentally prepare for every match, every loss, and every win.
I think judo teaches sportsmanship. I love going to judo tournaments. People don't boo or anything like that. It's really respectful, and it's also teaches a line to be a good athlete. You have to be confident, borderline cocky, but also modest. Judo teaches you that balance.
And it teaches you to respect your elders and your coaches, and honestly it teaches you to be grateful, because we're given so much and we have so many privileges in judo to be able to travel and have all these amazing coaches and learn from the best. So
choose your goals, stick to your goals, work with your coach and your families to make realistic goals, and just keep pursuing your goals.
Judo's a lot of fun, but make sure you have a good doctor and some good health care.